And then what I want to do today is just based on this, let's just try to do some quick demonstration or development, especially how do we use OpenAI API, how do we do the front end, all the backend stuff. To be honest, I didn't prepare anything. What I want to try is I want to just try to start use ChatGPT to generate everything as it goes. It may not be smooth, but if you remember what I shared with you on Tuesday, as you use generative AI, you will need to be prepared to work with an intern. Okay, you cannot expect everything to be perfect. Just go back and forth, interact, and give feedback, give example, and very often, you can get to the point that you need. All right, so I'm gonna start with something. The very first thing to think about if you're trying to build an application. Okay, let me actually try to minimize this one here. All right. Based on the requirements, okay, so think about you want to let's maybe first design what we want to build. Okay, so it's probably something like you collect some inputs, you send it to the backend to the engine, and then the AI process it, and then get results back, and then you render the results back, right? So it's a very standard kind of a full stack development. Now in this case, what could be a good example to use, guys? Can anyone give me some kind of ideas what we're trying to build? Some very basic like input with a prompt and then generate some results, recommendation or suggestions, whatever, and show as a results. Could you guys provide some ideas?
I think something that I found was really helpful was specifically giving it a type of job that I was interested in interviewing for, and then asking for materials that it might suggest to use to prepare.
Awesome. Very cool. I like that one. Especially, James, what we can do is that you can even like just post a job description, right? Um, we just simply go here, we want a Flutter developer. Okay, so we just open here. Um, this is our own. Okay, I want to get something more for development. All right, so yeah, right here. And this is the whole job description. And then we simply copy and paste here. I think that should give us something, right? So if I just simply copy paste. Okay, let's just copy everything. Okay. Now, first of all, we want to test the prompt. I will be providing a full job description. Please um, generate a checklist for me to learn and prepare for this job interview. Okay. Now, first of all, you got to test the prompt to see how it works well, and you might need to adjust the prompts. And then based on the pattern we talked about before, and here they give you technical details in the Python front-end framework, something like this. All right. Communication. All right, so I'm gonna change the prompt a little bit. Okay, so what I found is that we need a more like specific resources. Okay, so let me actually copy this again. We generate a checklist for me to learn and prepare. Um, this is for a college CS major student to use. Please keep the checklist simple and concise. For each item, please provide a reference or URL uh, for the student to use. And, let's try this again. right, so this one, they have Python courses, the document, everything, and then front end, HTML stuff, and they have generative AI, and then database. Oh, they actually did mention about long chain, which will also kind of briefly mention that one. And then they have some best practice, everything. I think this will be probably a lot more useful than the previous version. All right. Okay. I want to make sure all this link. Sometimes the link they generated doesn't work very well. Um, I don't know the reason. Okay. Anyway, so we can test it with the actual. Oh, this one actually works. Some of those work, some are not. I'm wondering if those links or some of those are kind of a fake. But anyway, we can adjust that later. But once you got some kind of version for the prompt, but then we don't want people to just use ChatGPT. We want to build a nice, simple UI to show all of this, right? So then let's work on it. Now, first of all, you gotta, start with the backend. I normally like to draw some kind of graph like this. Okay, let me draw this very quick. Okay. Now think about this is what we're gonna build. Let's actually try to build a web application. All right. So here is the web page. All right. So we're gonna call right. Um, Maybe you got a logo here. You know, mm, my job. Um, right. Okay, something like this. Very quick. Here is job description, and then here will be the results. Right. Checklist. Something like this. All right. Very simple web page. Okay, let's do a web first. So what happened is that if you go here, and then there may be a button. All right. Once you send this click on the button, that's gonna call our backend. And then what the backend is trying to do is trying to call in some kind of AI engine. In this case, we're gonna use OpenAI. All right. So the description is gonna go to the backend. The backend is gonna generate that prompt. Okay, so that is a prompt. But in this case, we have to do everything by programming. And that go to the OpenAI. So that actually send the results back. Okay, so then right this way. So that results will be back to backend, and the backend will actually send it to here. So that is kind of the workflow. So this is pretty much what we expect you to build for your final project. Okay, you got a front-end UI, here's the backend, and then here's OpenAI. So the difference is that we don't want you to go to the ChatGPT terminal to do this. We want you to have a complete branded application to do it. Okay, so in order to do this one, I suggest you start from all the way to the back. First of all, knowing how do we use programming to interact with OpenAI. And after that, how do you put together a server and the backend build, and then how do you put the front end? Okay, let's see if we can finish those. I don't think it's that hard. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. Everything I'm gonna go with ChatGPT. First of all, I can't guarantee a successful live demo, but I feel for this um, you know, application, we should be okay. All right, so I'm gonna try uh demo final project. It's gonna be in Python, okay? Since most of the APIs probably works with Python better, so I'm gonna start with that one. All right. And then yeah, let's actually start with some very basic stuff. Okay. The first thing everyone need to know is how do you use OpenAI API to generate, sorry, to call and send a prompt and get a response. They've been changing this one. So what you're looking at is this OpenAI API page. Okay, so if you go here, this is for the developers. Okay, see, they actually gave you a quick start kind of tutorial. This is new. Okay, I don't see this one before. We can probably use this one, and they tell you all the different use cases. Okay, they're actually changing this a lot. Okay, so let's actually try. This is Node.js, and I can change it to Python. And yeah, so this is actually really a lot easier. Okay. In this case, since they have such a good and nice tutorial, I'm gonna follow this one. Okay. Last year as we do this, they didn't have this kind of page. You have to go to the, the some GitHub report to find some references. Okay. So now very important, guys. You will need a API key to do this one. So calling their API is not for free. Okay, so you will need to sign up and put your credit card there. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if you go log into your account, you just need to put a credit card there. I think you need to buy some kind of uh, you know, buy some kind of credit. Okay, but it's actually very cheap. Okay, let's see their pricing. And so the way they charge is by using if the GPT 4.0 model and every 1 megabyte input, they do like a $1, $2. So 1 megabytes for tax is not too much. Okay, but it depends on how often you use. For our purposes, for building our own application, you're not gonna cost like 1 megabyte, I feel, most of the time. All right. But obviously, because if the prompt is very long, that's going to cost more. But no matter what, guys, well, I do suggest, okay, you should actually sign up and become a developer and then pay something for this one. This is not going to cost you a lot, probably just a lunch or 2 or 3 Starbucks coffee. Okay, but it's very worth it. Okay, so everyone should sign up here, and you can also try to explore some other free API. That's also fun, but this is definitely the most popular. All you need to do is put a credit card there, buy some credit, $5, $10 enough, and then you can start to use. All right. Now going back to this tutorial, once you have it, now first of all, you need to create a key here. Most of the APIs require you to have that key. And then let's actually change it to Python, everything to the Python. And then here is a very simple sample code. Okay, I'm gonna try to copy this one over. All right, let me just create a new Python test OpenAI and get a code here. And obviously we need this dependency. I'm gonna go just add that. So install the package, or you do pip install. If you do VS Code, something similar. I'm just a big fan of using PyCharm. So yeah, here we go. And then, but now as you can see, to use this is extremely easy. They actually simplified. Last year it wasn't like this. Okay, so you use a client, send a chat, and you create your prompt, and then you choose which model you're using. They use a mini model, and then here the role, and you're a helpful assistant. And then here the user is our default. The most important thing is here, the content. Okay, read haiku about recurring programming. So let's actually see, just explain what Python is to a 6-year old boy. All right. And then let's just run it. You just get the results, and then they have a multiple choice. You just pick the first default and then show the messages. So if you run this one, all right, so they said that you do not have the key, okay, because you're interacting with the OpenAI API, and you must have the permission and the key there, and you have to set it up. So that's why in the tutorial they were telling you how do you set it up. So you actually can do things like this, set an environment variable, and also I think in Python you can also just add it there. They suggest you the environment variable. But there is, I actually like to put in the code. All right. Remember they have something here. Okay, let me just add ChatGPT. Okay. So how to add the API key directly in the Python code. or using OpenAI API as follows. All right, so you just add this thing here called API key. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's just follow theirs. Um, this is not the best way because you sometimes you're checking the code, everyone can see your key, but it's for personal use. I think that's fine. Yeah, they have this parameter. I do remember that. Right here. All right, and then we need to grab our key. So you go to your setting. And it's in right here, user API keys. So I create a lot of those. I'm gonna create another one. CS 24, and then create a secret key, and then I can copy it over. I'll just put it right here. Okay. And then, so not secure, but just a very simple way you can debug the test. And let's try this. Okay, so I go here and I'm gonna run the code. All right, so as you can see this time, I'm getting a response back. Okay, there's a message, and okay, I imagine you have a magic box that you can do a lot of different things, like numbers, draw picture, tell stories. Python is like a special language that you can use to talk to the magic box. So pretty good response. Okay, but then as you can see, it's actually an object, and if you want to get a content, I assume if you do the content, and you can just get a string only. Try that. Yep. So this is what we want, right? So all the tags here at the return. So it's extremely simple, guys. Okay. This is same as you are using this. The difference is that you do this with programming. And as you all know, as a CS major, if you can do that with programming, that means you can automate a lot of things. And so back to our example, we got to test our prompt, right? So our prompt was that here, I'm gonna do this one. This is our prompt. Okay. And then, but we do want to add the actual jobs description below, right? So in that case, maybe it's better to organize this. So we have a job checklist prompt. Okay. So that prompt has this part. Also, it has maybe I'll do some um, formatting. Okay. Here, I like to add some kind of a break lines. And then here should be the job description, right? So in that case, we also need to provide a job description. Okay, so this one will be the job description. All right, and the job description is right here. Okay, let's actually just go find something else. Do the Android developer, this full stack. Okay, try this full stack. Okay, I'll add those. Yeah, but then pasting on the screens will be kind of tricky. Um, so there should be a better way. Is this something like this? Does anyone know how to do the whole is there an option that you can code everything like this? Anyone know in Python? Oh, circles. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, very good, Troy. Yeah. So that's how it works. Three quotes. Try that. Yeah, I do remember they have something like this. All right, so that see that's a lot better. Okay, I put this one as a string, I add it here, and then I put a variable. And then in this case, I don't need this. I need a job description, job checklist, and prompt. And then you run it, see the results. Okay, this is probably gonna take a little bit longer. Okay, so it looks like the type is wrong, right? So if we do this, something else we need to, so we cannot do this anymore. An operating type. Um, okay, any Python expert here to help? I assume the type, right? This type probably is different once we do the code, the three codes. Well, let me just ask. Error with following. Oh, the error is. It looks like, oh, it's related with the add this operator. Okay. Okay, it's spotted like a separate lines issues. Okay, so let's try this. Oh, now I remember something. Okay, I might need to do this one instead of this, and then pause. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. Okay, let me try this one. I think it's about it because I break the lines here. Something like that. Okay, let me try this one more time. All right, this seems to be working. All right, pretty good. All right, so see all the lists here, they print at the kind of markdown format, and then you can see all the links are available. All right, so yeah, exactly the same thing as we are interacting with the actual window here. Okay. Now, this very quick example, guys, I just want to show you how you call the API. It's extremely easy. That's why these days, if you want to build like AI, very simple AI startup, it's literally it doesn't cost you too much time. And then it's actually pretty cheap. All right. Those links, James, let's test it. I feel they should be okay, right? They seem to be okay links. Looks like. Let's see what that is. Okay, UI. Yeah, this seem to be okay. Oh, Material UI and Mozilla developer. Yeah, seem to be all good URLs. That's a part I don't know about the okay, so this one is not good. And but you know, this is still a real site, a free code camp. Okay, so anyway, but this one, yeah, we need to verify. But overall, looks good. Okay, I have to say that ChatGPT is improving a lot of this kind of fake things they're generating, so they're getting better and better. Okay, and also we are using a mini model right here, this one, which is a cheaper model. If you go with the 4.0, I feel the result might be a lot better. Okay, but it doesn't matter too much. Okay, anyway, guys, so this is some kind of a quick example. Okay, so this is just to show you how you interact with ChatGPT with the actual Python API. Okay, you can obviously do with Java, the Node.js, all fine. It's basically similar format. You can see their documentation provide everything. Okay, but now we're trying to build application and we're trying to build a Python backend. Okay, so I don't know how many servers that you have done. If you do Python, you can probably do Flask. That's my favorite. It's really simple, easy way to build it. And you can do Django, you can do Node.js, you can do all the other languages. Okay, but from now on, I'm not gonna try to really explain all the Flask how it works. Let's just give it ChatGPT to generate it. Okay, so I'm gonna keep working on this one. Okay. So first thing I need to do is I need to turn this into a server program. And normally I actually will need to provide a function, right? To input this as the input parameter, and then the output will be the results. And obviously I can start refactoring those. But now we have ChatGPT, I think they can do this for us. Okay. I will be providing the following code which uh, takes a job description string as an input and calls OpenAI API to generate the preparation checklist as output. The code is working. Please refactor the code and make it as a single function with the necessary input and output. Okay, I'm going to just put the code here. Let's see what they can do. I think refactoring in many cases, they can do a pretty good job. All right. So they got this one here, and then the rest of the code is pretty much the same thing. Okay, as you can see, they actually replaced the job description, the string, and then they turn that into a variable. And this part is the same thing. And they just attach the variable, and here the same thing to calling that, return the message, the content, and they even actually give you a sample test use case here, which is perfect. Okay. But the only thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to send API key every time, which is meaningless. Okay. We should not include the API key as a function input parameter. Okay. Give feedback. Okay. We should configure this as a global uh, setting, and that's it. I think they got what I'm trying to do. So now they move the API key right here, and then they create a client outside of the function. That's exactly what we want. And then here's the input parameter, and the prompt calling return as a string, and here's the test. That's pretty much what we want. Okay, I'm pretty sure this code just works. So I'm gonna just try to create another one. Okay, I would say this one as a job uh, checklist prep, um, just like this. All right, everything is here the same. I'm gonna copy that key. All right, and then set API key. Description here should be all the same thing. This is the same kind of prompt we use. Same prompt, and there's the job description, calling the model, return the results, and here's the test. Okay. I'll do a short one, just save some money. Okay. This is a startup company that builds an AI-based solution for college career advisor. All right, so let's run this. All right, so that still give you the right results. Okay, but this whole refactoring from here to here. Okay, everyone can do it, not a problem. But if you want to be faster, nicer, more professional with all even these comments, well, they did it for you. See, all the comments are generated. I bet in your Python code you never write comment. You probably don't even know how to write comments in Python. I don't even know it. I'm very familiar with Java, but never wrote comments in Python. I mean, this kind of what is called Java doc kind of doc comments, right? So they did it. Okay, so I don't know how your other professor are telling you, but my suggestion, guys, is that every single thing you do from now on, you should try to use ChatGPT to do it. As you can see, it's not really that easy. Something that works very well, something not. Sometimes you need a multiple iteration, but you got to use this one because these are experiences. Because everyone is trying to use. So the more you use, the more experience you have, and it's going to do a better job for you. Um, yeah, that's what I'm suggesting. Of course, you cannot deny the fact that you must know Python. You must know what a refactoring is. Okay, you must know what you need to build from architecture point of view. Otherwise you don't know what to ask, right? So you still need to have knowledge, but as they go to the actual implementation, this should be the right way to go. Okay, all right. Next step, I want to turn this into a server. This is not a server program. Okay, so I go back here. Now, please turn this program into a Python Flask server. This server has one HTTP API that takes the input job description string um, and returns the checklist string, the output. All right, so now they're going to work on this one and then put that into a Python Flask server. All right, so they give you all this explanation, but all I'm needing is just a code. Okay, so they include the Flask server. So if you're not sure about the Flask, take a look at that one. It's a very simple and really good uh, backend framework for I would say for small scale the uh, prototyping purposes, right? So I'm very familiar with. I look at the code. I think it's pretty much perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one. I'll create a new version just to compare. This one I'll call it job checklist wrap server. Okay, and then we need to import Flask. All right, I still need to have the key. All right, and then different this time is that you have a Flask server app build, and this is the same function. And then they are adding a API call here with your specific URL, and they actually use a post. And then right here, they take the input string, and I think we need to provide a parameter called job description. And they even check if you don't have job description, I'm going to return the 400. And then otherwise, I'm going to call this one, and eventually I return that as a JSON, which has a checklist. Okay, and then when you run this, and you actually got a server up and running. Uh, yeah, Tommy, I'll put the YouTube video as well as a code. Okay, I'll also try to check in the code. All right, so let's try to run this one. And then if I right click and I run this, now you got a Flask server. Okay, wait, it's already used? When did I use 500? Oh, AirPlay. Oh, interesting. AirPlay uses support? Interesting. They actually use 5,000? Huh. All right, you should run this again. All right, so that port is ready. This is a local version, okay? So I go to here, and yeah, that's pretty much the worst. So I want to test it. Okay, so go back, ChatGPT. What is the easiest way for me to test this HTTP post request? Now, obviously, guys, if you don't know too much about the backend HTTP requests and all of this, and you gotta learn that a little bit, and of course, the ChatGPT can help you. Um, with Yeah, I like this curl command. Okay, you send a curl command, and then they're just sending the HTTP request instead of Python, because right now we're not using the the function to call. We need to send the HTTP request to call, right? So let's do this one. They even give you the command. I like this one. So my server here is still running. I go to my terminal. Okay, and I'm going to copy this command. So what it does is trying to call your local host 5000 port, which HTTP post request. That's a URL, and that is a content type. Here is the input parameter and the job description. So um, Flutter app developer senior position. All right, and I hit enter. I send that request. So then the server will get a request and then process it for us. A little bit later, the result will be sent back. All right, so the results are back. Now the whole thing is actually in JSON format. Okay, this is coming from the server. All right. So this is maybe a little bit fast if this is the first time you actually ever work with the backend stuff, but later on, I'll point out the things you need to learn, okay, eventually from this example. All right, so looks like so far where we are is we are at here. So we built this complete server, it's ready. It's running locally. Okay, finally, we need to add a friend page. Okay, so let's see how much they can do for us. Okay, so go back here. Very good. Everything is so the backend is working. Now let's work on the front end. I need you to add another, I need you to put a web front end page, which will be hosted in the same Flask server. This page has the following UI layout and design. One, it has a single landing page. Two, the page has a center logo called My Job Prep. Three, below the logo, please have a input box with multiple lines for users to input the full job description. There should be a button called Go to trigger calling backend. Um, at the returned job checklist result will be rendered below the input section. All right. Please generate the complete front end page and the JavaScript to call the HTTP API built above. Okay, let's see what we can get. All right, so they started work on the front end. So this HTML and JavaScript, it looks like they're trying to put everything together, okay? Not the best practice, but we can ask them to change. So they put a CSS also here, and they have the results part, even the style is given to you. And then the HTML part isn't too difficult. They have a logo here, they have a text area, they have a button, they have final results, and then the JavaScript all being given. Okay, they get everything all in one file, which is fine, okay, because this is actually a kind of a not a very difficult example. All right, so let me get this one first. Okay, this one, they put it into HTML file, right? So I'm gonna go to my file here. I'll call it index.html. Get everything over. And let's see what they need to also add the other one here. So these are all the same thing. They just need to add one more right here. Okay, so we need to add this as the actual API. Go to server. This is what we need. And looks like this is not recognized, and so something we're missing from the import right here. So this is how the Flask server deals with the front end. Return some of the template pages. And looks like, you see, they use this template thing. I don't know if that's required, but let me read this one. So the front end has this one, has area, all of this. They explain this and they use the very traditional AJAX call, which is a JavaScript way to call the backend server. The good thing is that they already know what the server looks like. They know the parameter, everything, exactly how to call it. And then they set a root as a front end page. And once you submit, they call this API and they're getting those. Okay, so we need to make sure the HTML page go to the templates folder. So that's probably a best practice. I'm going to create a folder called templates, and I'm going to move this one over. All right, so the templates had this front end page. So if you go to the default, it should actually return that automatically. Okay, well, I don't know how hard this one is, but let's give it a try. Okay, hopefully it's worth. It's complicated, but it's not that complicated. All right, so the server is up and running. Now I go to localhost. All right, so I got this little page here. Okay, logo, input, and then button. After that, I should be able to see the results. Okay, I don't know if that API call is gonna work, but let's try. Uh, I'm gonna go back here. Okay, let's just copy this whole thing. All right, looks like it's all becomes plain text. Should be okay. Let's click on go. And yeah, let's just wait a little bit. Oh, it got back. Very good. Wait, the some part got missing. Okay, well, let's see this one first. Okay, so looks like the whole result is coming back. Okay, the checklist is here and all the strings goes here. Yeah, but we actually something's wrong actually. So as you can see, the logo, all the input part actually is gone. Okay, so let's see if they can fix it. Well, the most difficult part is handled. Okay, the interaction part, that JavaScript, if you've never done that, that's actually very difficult. The front end is kind of working. Well, we can receive and render the HTTP results, but the logo and input section is gone after rendering the results. Please fix that. Let's see what they can do. Maybe that's what they designed for. Okay. But as you can see, guys, this seems to be easy, but in my mind, I know exactly what we need to build the three kind of layer, the input, output, the HTTP. So as you do this one, you might not know what to start, but think about if you don't know it, what kind of prompt to ask, and how to get the details things step by step, right? Um, okay. So anyway, not gonna read the code. Let me just try it to see if it makes a difference. So go back here, rerun it. So this one I'll do a Java, simple one. Okay, Java beginner code. Nope, it doesn't look very good. I don't know if it's because it's too much. Oh, yeah. So what's wrong with this? So it looks like it's not gone. It's just two. It just okay. So what type of this issue? Yes. How do we use uh interesting. Oh man, this one will be very hard to even ask. Let's try it. Um, please make the whole front end page scrollable even after seeing the render result. Please make sure we can still scroll up to see the logo or input section after rendering the result. Okay, let's see if something can be changed right here. This, I assume, will probably need a lot more like interaction, and then you might need to dig into the code to tell exactly which part, to change. I haven't used too much about the Copilot. In my experience, the ChatGPT actually works really well. A Copilot, I tried it a couple of times, not necessarily, a lot better, but maybe I'm just not a very experienced with it. All right, this is how they fix it. Well, let's see if that works. Okay, restart, refresh the page, beginner, Python programmer. All right, they fix it. Pretty good. Yeah, see, everything's good. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, I actually, you know what, thanks, James, and also Chunrei. I feel the same way. I also, the Copilot is supposed to be better, but I also don't see, really the big advantages. All right, so thanks for the feedback. All right, well, this is a lot better. Okay, two problems. One is that button thing. Can we add effects? This works. Could you add a uh, spinning effects on the button? Once we click on it, it goes to a pending or waiting status and become active after we receive the result. Another thing is that could also, in addition, please, um, I feel this is a markdown, right? So how do they, um, to render result? Could we, um, could you change the result render in part to um, be able to first and display the markdown format. Okay. Anyway, I see. So they actually start exploring those steps. We don't need a step. Just go ahead and change the code. Okay. So there's some kind of a oh, they also want to use the Markdown JS, Mark.js to render the Markdown. Can I see how that's gonna work? All right, so they provide us a link. Okay, hopefully that works. All right, looks promising. I mean, overall, the code looks very reasonable. Okay, try that. One more version. Restart. Inner C++. Oh, that works. See, the processing button looks pretty cool. And once the results come back, perfect. All right, guys. See, the markdown is rendered with all the links, and the links are working. Yeah, got it done. All right. Honestly, just to figure out the whole markdown thing, we probably need to text test it back and forth. It's probably not going to be that difficult, but you have to go to Overflow, Stack Overflow, Google, and see all the different posts and everything here. But I have to say that, as you start to do this one, it may not be that easy. Okay, so you need to know what you need to ask, what kind of things you need. All right, but yeah, overall, this one looks really good. Okay, that's our expectation for a project. But for your project, you should try to do something more complicated than this. Okay, instead of just a one input and output. Like for this one, you can probably manage your users like a checklist, be able to save those and share those. Just add some more features. Okay. All right. So that's what I want to share today, guys. Any questions? All right, so I'm gonna post our assignment, not assignment, that's the final project. Okay, I have one more demo I did last year, maybe a little bit older, but I'll also post that one. That one was a kind of Flutter app project, but just to show you different kind of examples. Okay, but then as time goes, please start to identify your idea and then start working on it as soon as you can. All right, guys. So I'm gonna stop recording and then